Like, why is it like guaranteed that we're getting lies?
Yeah, because it's the game talking. And this is not a shot at him, but he's very extra. Like he lie. Everybody know he lie.
Like I said, he never mentions the people that were actually involved.
Right.
It's whack. It's whack because it's like, how do you think that a lie sounds better than the truth?
Somebody put my head on a stripper's body, bro. Like, and I want to say it was 50, bro. But like, what? Like, get the out of here. That's crazy, bro.
Me and Game's mom, we started a male exotic club. Jayceon danced there maybe twice, and 50 Cent will not let him forget it.
The Game used to be one of the hottest rappers in the game, no doubt. But in recent years, both fans and critics have come to see him as a case of wasted potential. And one big reason for that is his tendency to exaggerate or outright lie about things, which has hurt his reputation and burned so many bridges. Let's get into it. The Game and Diddy. One of the main reasons people have been giving the Game the side-eye lately is because of his odd defense of Diddy. Despite all the scandals surrounding the bad boy mogul, the Game has repeatedly said he's been around Diddy millions of times and never saw anything shady.
I've been around Puff for millions of times, and I ain't never seen, none of that people are talking about, but that's just my experience. I don't know what other people experience outside of the Cassie situation, which, I think they settled that, right? So he had that.
Oh, he settled it quick.
Right. So that means that he owned up to whatever it was that they had.
At first glance, it might seem like he's just being loyal, but considering Diddy's long history of controversy, that kind of defense starts to feel a little suspicious. What really makes people raise their eyebrows is that the Game has been aware of the rumors about Diddy, yet he still goes out of his way to defend him. So it's no surprise that some fans think there might be more to it than just friendship.
So I think that there are several rappers that are in the closet and gay. And see, those are the type of gay people the only type of gay people I have a problem with.
One of the strangest rumors floating around is that Diddy took the Game shopping multiple times. Now that might sound harmless on the surface, but in industry slang, that phrase can carry a whole other meaning. Some people have even speculated that Diddy might have some kind of dirt or compromising info on the Game, which could explain his oddly strong loyalty. According to the Game himself, he rolled with Diddy for 2 years, but not once did Diddy take him to the studio to record. Even when the Game handed over his demo tapes, Diddy would shut it down and instead take him out partying and shopping.
I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, and this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, with your demo, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap?
He said Diddy bought him Rolex watches, gold chains, and all kinds of expensive gifts. Meanwhile, the Game kept pushing to get in the studio, but instead, Diddy just flew him around the country to hang out and chill. For 2 whole years, they never made a single track together. That left fans scratching their heads, especially since rumors back then claimed the Game was trying to sign to Bad Boy. People expected a powerhouse collab. The Game was hot and Diddy was one of the top producers, but nothing ever came of it, which made people wonder what Diddy's real intentions were. Over the years, Diddy has been tied to a lot of questionable situations, including accusations of using young artists for his own benefit. So when you add all that up with the Game's constant defense, it really starts to feel like there's something more going on: the Game's lies. But this wouldn't be the first time the Game got caught lying. Remember when he claimed he dated a bunch of high-profile women only for them to come out and deny it? Or the time he said he helped launch some big-name artists just for those same artists to shut him down?
Like, why is it like guaranteed that we're getting lies?
Yeah, because it's the Game talking.
One of the most talked about examples was when he claimed he was a key figure in discovering Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick is a legend now, but the Game said he was the one who put him on the map. The problem was Kendrick and people close to him told a different story. Sure, the Game brought him on tour early on, but saying he made Kendrick? That's a stretch, and people weren't having it. Fans and industry folks called him out fast, accusing him of trying to ride Kendrick's wave to stay relevant. The Game also said his rise in the rap game was all about grind, but then someone named The Money, a respected figure on the West Coast, stepped in with a different version. He said the Game got a lot of help behind the scenes and that his whole "I came from nothing" story wasn't exactly the truth.
So yeah, his whole story is just a lie, man. Like I said, he never mentions the people that were actually involved.
Right.
He never mentions D-Mac. He never mentions, but you can Google that.
A lot of artists like to simplify their come-up story.
That just added more fuel to the fire and made people question how much of the game's image is real and how much of it is just a carefully crafted story. Another thing is how the game also lies about his past in an attempt to seem harder than he actually is. A prime example of this is the long-standing rumor that the game was a male stripper before he got into the rap game. For years, people have talked about it, and at one point, a photo even surfaced showing him wearing what looked like a thong. Naturally, the game went on the defensive, swearing up and down that the photo was fake and photoshopped. He even went as far as claiming that 50 Cent was behind it, trying to tarnish his image during their beef.
Somebody put my f***ing head on a stripper's body, bro. Like, and I want to say it was 50, bro. But like, what? Like, get the out of here. That's crazy, bro.
But as much as the game tried to deny it, people who knew him started speaking out. One of the most damning confirmations came from the game's own stepfather, Hodari Sababu. In a documentary about the history of hip-hop in Compton, California, Sababu shared some details about the game's past that the game himself probably wishes had stayed buried. According to Sababu, he and the game's mother used to run a male exotic dance club. The idea behind the club was to give guys fresh out of jail a way to make money. Many of these men were buff from working out of prison, but because of their criminal records, they couldn't easily find jobs. Sababu explained that the club was a way for these guys to make a living, and some of them could make up to $1,000 a week dancing.
Me and Game's mom, we started a male exotic club. What we used to do, we used to get guys that's just come fresh out of jail. A lot of these guys can't go and fill out an application and get a job, but hey, if they look good, they've been working out, we put them on, man. We get them, we get them $1,000 a week dancing.
Here's where things get interesting. Sababu revealed that the game, whose real name is Jayceon Taylor, danced at the club maybe twice. Sababu even acknowledged that 50 Cent has never let the game live it down.
Jayceon danced there maybe twice, and 50 Cent will not let him forget it.
In the documentary, Sababu shared that he had advised the game to just own up to his past and not get too worked up about it being brought to light. Other rappers and figures in hip-hop have also called him out, further damaging his street cred. For instance, Kodak Black once joked during a live session that 50 Cent basically grabbed the game off the pole and changed his entire life.
What'd he say?
What did he say?
He said 50 grabbed that guy off the pole like I'ma change your whole life.
50 Cent himself has brought this up multiple times, using G-Unit Radio to clown the game for his rumored stripper past. Then there's the infamous butterfly tattoo. Back in the day, the game decided to get a large butterfly inked on his face. Needless to say, the tattoo quickly became a source of ridicule, especially for someone trying to maintain a hardcore image. Eventually, he had it reworked into a star in the LA Dodgers logo. But even that move didn't stop the jokes. When asked why he changed it, the game gave what many saw as a weak excuse, claiming that the tattoo artist didn't draw the butterfly right, so he decided to cover it up.
Why'd you decide to do the LA over the butterfly?
Cause I got it when I was in New York, but he ain't do it right, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up looking like moth.
Fans weren't buying it. Many said they would have respected him more if he had just kept it real, admitting that the butterfly tattoo might have had a personal meaning at the time, but later realizing it sent the wrong message. Instead of owning up to it, his explanation came across as another attempt to dodge criticism. And the tattoo isn't the only thing that made people question the game's authenticity. He's also been accused of recycling the same lines in his so-called freestyles over the years. Hip-hop fans are quick to notice patterns, and they didn't hesitate to call him out for using the same bars repeatedly in what he tried to pass off as off-the-top raps.
Red rose, white ceiling. Nobody, no casket, just blood spilling. I ain't a dead president, but I love millions. They like game when you been. Shit, red blood rose, white ceiling. Nobody, no casket, just blood spilling. I ain't a dead president, but I love millions. They like game where you been. Shit, game chillin'. Red rose, white ceiling. Nobody, no casket, just blood spilling. I ain't a dead president, but I love millions. They like game where you been. Yeah, red rose, white ceiling. Nobody, no casket, just love millions. They like game where you been.
To make matters worse, his appearance on dating TV shows further chipped away at his street cred.
Actually, he said that he wanted me to meet his mom at his mom's club. And when we got there, I didn't know it was a strip club.
Arena, and she's like, get her going on like Arena.
Another example is the infamous Instagram post where he shared a Photoshop picture of himself with Tupac Shakur. Fans quickly realized the image was fake, and the backlash was swift. People accused the game of trying to deceive his followers.
What? You photoshopped yourself on someone else and put a picture out with you and Pac.
It's Pac.
But it's not you.
When confronted about it on Vlad TV, he claimed that he never intended to trick anyone and simply wanted to show appreciation for Tupac, whom he considers as one of the greatest rappers ever. However, the damage to his credibility was already done. Then there's the ever-changing story of how many times he got shot. It's like he can't keep a story straight, which only adds to the skepticism around him. Over the years, the details of these stories have changed, making it difficult for fans and critics alike to discern the truth. Then there was the incident where he claimed that Kanye West did more for him in a few weeks than Dr. Dre did throughout his career. In addition to these issues, the game has faced multiple accusations of scamming young, unsigned artists out of thousands of dollars, promising them placements on a mixtape and promotion for their music. He allegedly took their money without delivering on his promises. The game versus 50 Cent. And then there's the game's many beefs in the industry. Let's start with the most notorious one, his feud with 50 Cent. Back in 2003, 50 Cent shook the entire industry with the release of his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin', as Eminem's protege. Dr. Dre, seeing 50 Cent's success, decided it was time to bring up an artist of his own. That same year, Dre discovered a kid handing out mixtapes throughout Compton and decided to sign him to Aftermath. This rapper was The Game. Dr. Dre worked in the studio with The Game for several months, but it wasn't until August of 2003 that The Game and 50 Cent finally linked up in the studio. They collaborated on a track called So Hard for the June at Radio 3's Taking It to the Streets mixtape, which marked the game's G-Unit debut on Wax. After several months of trying to generate buzz for the game, music executive Jimmy Iovine came up with an idea that would skyrocket the game's career. Since 50 Cent was the hottest rapper in the world at the time, Dre and Jimmy thought it would be a good idea for the game to become an official member of G-Unit. Dre pitched the idea to 50 Cent, and soon enough, the game was officially part of the group.
And yeah, yo, home.
Early 2005 rolled around, and this is where the relationship between 50 Cent and the game began to sour. During this period, the game started dissing other artists and DJs for no apparent reason. This forced 50 Cent to cover for him, calling these people to patch things up so they wouldn't end the game's young career.
I was putting band-aids over stab wounds in that situation, and then he came back, and his way of patching it up was, I don't have a problem with Jay-Z or Fat Joe or anybody. I'm busy patching this thing up that you just did, and you come back and you say you don't have a problem even with the people that I have issues with.
Tensions rose further when the game wanted his debut album, The Documentary, to come out before 50 Cent's second studio album. This led to 50 delaying his album until March, leaving him with a very bad taste in his mouth. The breaking point in their beef came when the game publicly stated that he had no issues with Nas, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss, all of whom were 50's enemies at the time. 50 Cent saw this as a major act of disloyalty. During an interview with Ed Lover on Power 105.1, 50 Cent went on a tangent about the game and officially kicked him out of G-Unit live on the air. And what would follow is an exchange of back-and-forth disses. The game's departure from G-Unit put a significant strain on his relationship with Dr. Dre. With millions of dollars at stake, Dre had to make a business decision that essentially sabotaged his work with the game. However, the game proved his resilience with the release of Doctor's Advocate in 2006, just a year after his debut. He managed to deliver a stellar album without Dre's guiding hand or 50 Cent's contributions, proving to the world that he could stand on his own. The Game and Dr. Dre. Despite the public fallout, it turns out that Dre and the game maintained a healthy relationship behind the scenes. By the time the Red album was released in 2011, the game revealed that Dre was still giving him vital feedback.
Dre always told me, no matter what happens, no matter what is said in the media, me and you are always going to be the same as we were the last time we had an in-person conversation.
For years, the game's loyalty to Dr. Dre remained unshaken. Despite no longer being officially signed to him, the game showed an unwavering commitment to Dre, unlike anything he had exhibited for anyone else in the industry. He admitted there were tense moments between them, but his gratitude always overshadowed the friction. In interviews, he often boasted about his ability to call Dre at a moment's notice. However, if he tried to make that call today, it would likely go unanswered. The game has systematically ruined his ties with Dr. Dre and the entire Aftermath family. His downfall could have been avoided if he hadn't been so controlled by emotion in an industry that demands strategy and careful thought. When Dre released the Compton LP and the game appeared on only one track, some fans found it odd. However, the situation became more glaring when Dre was set to oversee the Super Bowl halftime show in 2022. It was expected that Dre would perform a career-spanning set featuring many artists he had mentioned. On the big night, he brought out Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Anderson .Paak, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent. Meanwhile, the Game was left on the sidelines, watching from his own city. Initially, the Game kept things civil and acted unbothered by the snub. However, knowing his mindset, it seemed only a matter of time before his true feelings spilled out. Eventually, he admitted that it did get to him. This admission flipped a switch, opening the floodgates for the Game to cross a line he had never crossed before, discrediting Dr. Dre. The rapper who had once penned a heartfelt tribute to Dre on his second album now downplayed Dre's impact on his career and life as if it were insignificant.
And I've never had a Dre beat in my career. I've never had a song with Dre on it and Dre been in my video. Snoop has a ton. M has a ton. I don't have none.
Soon, he was claiming that Kanye West, a man he had previously beefed with over explicit lyrics about Kanye's then-wife Kim Kardashian, has done more for his career than Dre ever did. The world collectively rolled its eyes at this comment, and those who witnessed the Game's early days with Aftermath were quick to call him out. By publicly disparaging the man who had given him a major break, the Game effectively burned his most valued bridge in hip-hop. He has since tried to walk back his comments, attempting to save face, but the damage was done. In the aftermath of the Super Bowl snub, the Game internalized a lot of animosity towards Dre. He even used this bitterness to justify some of his actions, like claiming that his diss towards Eminem was just another way to get back at Dre. If this were an isolated incident, perhaps Dre could have let it go. But it was part of a larger pattern of behavior that ultimately destroyed Dre's respect for the Game. The Game's attempts to undermine Kendrick Lamar were another factor in Dre's distancing. Saluted by Kendrick and Blackboy Fly as a rapper he looked up to, the Game was present when the torch was passed to Kendrick by Snoop Dogg. Over the years, Kendrick collaborated with the Game on several tracks, and it seemed like they were on good terms. However, at every turn, the Game appeared to downplay Kendrick's skills, whether out of competitiveness or jealousy.
Ain't nobody in Countdown rap game. Kendrick do it. I love that to death. I flew past Kendrick when I was on foot in a Range Rover and showed him how to do it. Don't play with Game name. Hardest in Compton, rapping, lyricist, me.
Once again, the Game let alcohol influence his actions, fostering potential problems with another of Dre's proteges. This, along with his refusal to stand by the West Coast during Kendrick's beef with Drake, contributed to Dre's gradual distancing. While Dre provided the intro to Not Like Us, the Game took Drake's side and wasn't present at Kendrick's pop-up show that symbolized West Coast unity. This absence raised questions and added to the reasons why Dre no longer respects him. Despite the Game's attempts to control his narrative, it's easy to see why Dre has distanced himself. The Game has dissed nearly every major rapper associated with Aftermath, and his unpredictable nature has proven hazardous. His disloyalty and ungratefulness have made it clear to Dre that maintaining ties with the Game is more trouble than it's worth. Unfortunately, the Game's habit of trying to rewrite his own history has only hurt him in the long run. He's undeniably talented and has contributed some great music to the culture, but his credibility has taken a hit over the years. Instead of being remembered solely as a great rapper, his legacy is now tied to these controversies and the perception that he's more focused on keeping up appearances than staying true to himself.